We're gonna go down here and feed the donks. I've already been up to greet them, so you won't get to see the initial greeting. But I keep the tripod in the barn. I couldn't hardly go over to get the tripod. I'm not gonna greet my donkeys. There's Abraham. There's Missy Kitty. Missy Kitty. And there's little Miss Clara. Hello, Clara. Are you inside? All right. Everybody. They speak to me the first time I come up usually, and they did tonight. So you don't get to hear that part. It's been a kind of a stressful day for Abe. I ran a power tool up here, and he doesn't like power tools. But I needed to. I'm going to feed him. I thought you might want to see that. There's loose hay. I've been told you there's an old bale over there, square chunk. That pile there's loose hay from this year's cuttings. I ran a power tool up here today. I ran a grinder that metal right there. I put all that metal up along the panel. I did some changing here since last time we were here. I put that post there up, and I made that gate that Clara's standing behind. I'll be opening that in a minute. I made that and installed it. I put that metal up there. I moved this panel out closer to us because when I put that loose hay in there, I had a smaller panel and it was in closer to the hay, and they all wanted to crowd it and steal the hay. And I prefer to get to say when it gets fed out. And then the original pile was only there in the middle because that was a panel over there and they could eat over it and through it. So I put up a taller panel, and then I put that steel up, and that's just old scrap steel. It's, you know, every old farm like mine has piles of scrap steel on it somewhere, and it's not rainproof, but it's still a resource. You can use it for various things. Abe's sled's made out of a piece of scrap steel. But that was all as tall as the door. You can see the top of the door right there. That was all as tall as the door. And I couldn't feed over, and it was real inconvenient. And it was hard for me to work through that gate, so I opened up a place in it. So I'm going to feed these kids. I'm going to fly spray them first because I never used fly spray before, but the flies just eat them alive, and I couldn't stand it. And so I went with that's my toxin, and you get to see me. I'm not going to make any secrets about it. Hello, everybody. people figured out right away that it was making the flies not bite. But I prefer, I would prefer if I could to live in a world where I didn't have to use any poisons. But the flies were just literally eating the hide off these animals' legs. You see the abused animals in the third world that have big running sores on them. It's not because the people abuse them, it's because the flies do. I made this hole today here so that I could get through here and work that chain latch better. I cut all these off at this height. They were all up about like that. And I did that with a power grinder, electric grinder. I've got power over there by the grain bins. Run an extension cord over here. And Abe hates power tools that make squealy noises, and so it was an unpleasant experience for him, but some days are. I've still got baled hay, but I'm not going to feed them any baled tonight. This is my first year with loose hay, and so learning the right quantities to be feeding is different, because in bales, although you're feeding by weight, but in bales you tend to handle by volume, because you get used to it. You know, so much of a bale weighs what they need. And since this is all new, it's hard for me to know whether I'm feeding the right amount yet. And the way you know if you're feeding them the right amount is afterwards. You know, how much they eat, how much they leave, how fussy they are, how fast it's gone. Is that going to be enough? I don't know. What do you think? Is that a little? Anybody know? I don't think it is. I think we need some more. I don't think I gave him enough. No, I probably gave him too much. Got you guys. Take it home. That over there is crummy hay. That partial bale there is a crummy bale. This end of the barn leaks, and it's the west end, and so the baled hay that I had stored in there got wet, and it's got moldy spots in it. So what I do with that is I just feed it free choice over this panel right there. And because donkeys have such incredibly prehensile lips, they can pick through that and leave all the moldy parts on the ground and eat what's good. And if I fed them all they want over there, then they won't eat any of this other. But if I leave them on kind of short rations, easy baby, you're okay. She says, I don't like that thing. If I leave them with short rations, then they'll go out there and eat that. So I can feed them that way without really having to worry about actually significantly underfeeding them. I can just give them enough, give them some of this really good stuff, because they'll eat that first for sure. And then there, Miss Kitty, good girl. Good boy, Abraham, come on back in. Come on, it's good. Yes, everybody loves you. I love you. Come on in here, old man. Come on, you can do this. Just here. He says, yeah. Don't point that thing at me. Don't point that thing at me. Been doing a lot of this and that and the other thing, and all this, most of this barn's built out of pieces that are wired together, and so I wind up with pieces of wire getting away. Well, that's it. Abe's not coming back in until I shut off the camera, so. Good night, Abraham. Yeah, you're good.